Episode 11, I'm not really sure what chapter. Today is Valentine's Day, and before the day ends, I wanted to take a reflection on how I spent this day. So this morning, I woke up, we had breakfast, the leftovers, well, not really, the mini pancakes from a local vendor, and we had that. It was a pretty small breakfast, and then we went to the store and got some supplies to distribute to our unhoused neighbors. And then we went to the Truckee River to pick up some trash. It was very, very disappointing. There was a lot of trash. There were some trash that are definitely not from our unhoused neighbors, such as the tags. I think they're called Merc or something, and they're used to identify weed plants. So there's that. And definitely we cannot blame it on our house neighbors like some people would like to imply, and why that there's trash in the river. We spent a good amount of time, about an hour and a half or so, before we ended up giving up because we didn't really eat enough and we weren't dressed quite well for the occasion. So next time we know better, and hopefully we can go back before next year when we add it to our annual festivities for Valentine's Days and for showing up to our community. After that, we kind of like just stayed home and arranged some supplies again. And then we thought that we could just show up to our favorite restaurant. Well, not really. We could order to go and eat in the car like we've been doing in the past couple of months. And that's exactly what we did. Kind of disappointing with how much people were outside. But at the same time, we have to think about how the service industry, the tourism industry, what are we really doing for them so that they can stay home with their families and they're not out there risking their lives, right? What are we doing aside from the small business grants? After that, we drove around and we kind of like looked for our unhoused neighbors to deliver some supplies, some roses, maybe a little bit of cash. Surprisingly, they were not that visible. And I was a little worried that we were turning into Irvine. What are we doing with our unhoused neighbors? Where are they? Where are the RVs? Where are the tents? What happened to them? So we kind of just drove around. We were thinking maybe a domestic violence shelter, maybe a generic shelter for women and children. And then somehow I decided to not take the directions and just drove around. At the end of the road, where the only choice was to turn right, I saw a bunch of cars parked, and some of them look like they're non-operational. And there was even one that was kind of like destroyed or picked apart. At the end of that road, again, there was a tent. There was a tent with two people inside. We made a U-turn. We wanted to ask if they wanted the stroller that we had in the car, that another local person was giving away and wanted to give away to perhaps a family in need. The lady started crying. She was so happy that she'd have something to collect her stuff in, to perhaps maybe get groceries in. She saw that we had some supplies in the car, and she asked if she could have one can of drink. We told her she could have everything, and that we also had roses in the car. We had some bananas, we had some snacks. We gave her everything. She kept saying how she didn't have anything. But you know what she did have? She had her partner in the tent. He didn't go out. But right as we were leaving, she excitedly said, "Look, baby, we have stuff now." I started tearing up, and I'm tearing up right now, as my partner and I realize how lucky we are to have a place to call home, to have somewhere to sleep. Even back when we just slept on the floor, and that was by choice. We just didn't want to get a bed yet. That is when we had a 2-bedroom home. But we were only using 1 bedroom. That little moment made me realize how lucky I am. How lucky I am to be able to be in a position to give back to the community. To focus on one person at a time. To focus on what I could do to help. To make a difference. To amplify stories. To hopefully find them help. Find everyone help. The way that they want to be helped. The way that they're ready to receive help. Because perhaps right now, the only capacity that that person has is to receive basic necessities. The snacks, the fruit, the drink, the cart. And for my gratitude statement today, I am so thankful to be able to do this. I am so thankful that I had the courage to resign, to set my boundaries, and to recognize, well, more like be afraid that I wasn't going to leave a legacy that I would be proud of. But here I am, and I know that I've already left my mark, and I will continue to leave my mark, and I will not stop. Because I know that we can all do better. And tomorrow, I get to stand at the Capitol and show my support for our local educators. Because we do have to do better. For our children, for our community, and for ourselves.